Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is April 1st, but this is not an April Fool's video. Today, I want to talk about something that's actually not funny, it's concerning, especially for those of us who do live on the border, but it should affect and concern everybody in the USA. Uh, Currently, we have a migrant surge on the border. As we know, regardless of where it came from or how it manifested itself, we are looking at large numbers of people trying to come into the country. Uh, for the most part, they're coming to the border checkpoints and actually turning themselves in to Border Patrol. However, there are many, many who are not. They're trying to sneak through the woods, they're trying to go through other places. Now, just to qualify, from what I'm understanding, the majority are not from Mexico. Mexico is a trade partner of the USA. We had NAFTA, and now we have the USMCA, I believe it's called, which Trump had basically rewritten NAFTA. For Mexican workers to come into the country, it's actually straightforward. There's not a lot of motivation to sneak in when they can just get a worker permit and they can come in for 6 months, make money, and go home. Uh, but where these folks are coming from is Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. And those countries, some from Colombia, but not as many, those countries in particular are rife with what they call Mala Salvatrucha or MS-13, as many of us know them here, and various other gangs and cartels. And there's a bloodbath going on. Don't get me wrong. The media will show us pictures of kids, little kids with the moms. Uh, and that's tragic because a lot of these people are indeed desperate and they're running away from a war zone. What's concerning to me is that things are being done and the people are not being told. So in West Texas, and I think also in Arizona, they've put uh, they've put new facilities that are housing young men. And when I say they say children in the national news, it's not children. The local news in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico will tell you their age is 15 to 18. When they hit 18, they're technically an adult. I guess they get moved to another facility. Having grown up in the streets, I know that the ages from 15 to 17 are rife for gang recruitment. And in many countries, those are considered military age men. We have in West Texas, at least one facility has 350 only males who came up here by themselves. It's basically, they created an internment camp for these young immigrants or these illegal immigrants, and they're being housed, and nobody knew. The mayor did not know of any of the cities in the area. None of the sheriffs knew until a local politician was doing something, for the local community, and someone said, what are they building here? And this guy, and I think he was actually a Democrat, walked over and goes, what the hell? And lo and behold, it's a facility for 300 people. Now the federal administration in existence has decided to tell the local law enforcement that if they run away from the facility, we're not going to chase them. Local law enforcement's going to have to figure it out and bring them back to us. So we all know that the U.S. is battling a heroin and meth problem all across the country, especially in the countryside. It's more crack and cocaine in the cities, and that's just the way things get transported in because of the ports versus homegrown meth. But that's a problem, and it's dangerous. We've got a lot of military age young men, or just under that, who are being housed. We're being told it's women and children and families, but when pressed by the local mayors of various cities, and they're from both parties, the feds finally admitted, no, that's 350 young men between 15 and 18 when they hit 18. And that's assuming the paperwork is truthful. They could all be 18 for all we know. That's dangerous. I've been advised they have stopped Iranians. They have stopped folks from countries that do not like us at the border, as well as oddball countries, which you wouldn't expect in the southern border, India, China, um, the list goes on. And the problem is, if the border is porous, you run a risk of danger. I would highly recommend, if you like to read the book from Tom Clancy, and it's dated. It was written in 1990, called Summer of All Fears. It deals with this very issue. An entity overseas decides they don't like the U.S. and they use a porous border crossing to bring a tactical nuke into the country, or try to, with the help of, here's funny, the cartels south of the border and an anarchist group north of the border. So there's always that risk. It's small, but it exists. But I'm more concerned about the day-to-day crime. You have a lot of unemployed young males who the government does not have a plan for. So I advise everyone, pay attention to what's going on in your towns. If you see new construction going up that doesn't make sense, ask questions of your community leaders. Our neighbors did that in the other city, and they got answers, because once the mayors, the county judges find out, they start threatening lawsuits, start threatening to shut down facilities that are in violation of the state if they don't get the proper paperwork. And lo and behold, magically it appears. Uh, we're not all being told what's going on. I will tell you that guardsmen I know and volunteers I know, they are finding a lot of families, children, sadly, that their search and rescue efforts on the border, because somebody will say, hey, they're migrants, we see them, they need help. They'll go there. And typically, if they see Border Patrol, they'll come to them and go, hey, look, we just want to be here. We don't want trouble. We're lost. But a lot of times it becomes a recovery. There are families that are dying. Women are being raped by what they call a coyote, and it's not a literal coyote, folks. I'm sure many of you know. It's a nickname they give to the human smugglers. Um, it's bad, and it's concerning. Law enforcement's stretched thin. They're even calling civilian volunteers to assist in search efforts. Local churches are trying to feed the families, but there doesn't seem to be a coherent plan, and that scares me. Okay, this is purely my opinion. It doesn't reflect the opinion of any agency or entity or my company or whatever. We need to have a plan so these folks, if they want to come here, know where to go, know how to get registered. If we have to recreate an Ellis Island for them to come to one place to be registered and brought in a coherent way, that's fine. What we're doing, we're increasing suffering. People are getting lost on the border trying to come into the US. Even if they want to do it legally, they don't know how. They're being victimized, they're being raped, and now there's a smuggling issue with young women in both directions. Uh, I won't say, but I know of a personal case, someone close to me who their daughter was kidnapped, and she was on her way south of the border when they intercepted and recovered her, and she was not in good shape. So I speak from a personal involvement in one of these situations from a neighbor that was in Houston. So to all the preparedness community, pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhoods, in your cities. A lot of us touch on reconnoitering or doing recon in your own area. Do that and make a habit of it. Drive around and question stuff. You see something going up that looks weird, call the local mayor's office, call the zoning commission. We're going to need to take action. I'm not saying go and burn down the Capitol. We don't need to be doing dumb things, but we can definitely make a lot of noise. And if you make enough noise, people will pay attention. And local news, the local level news agencies love this stuff. So if you can't get answers, call them and say, hey, I see what looks like a facility being put up. What's that about? Trust me, they'll send a reporter there just to be nosy. Reach out, pay attention. I say that at the end of all my videos. Please do that. Nobody saw this one, and it's not in my area in general. It's a little ways away. So, but the local folks were driving around, and all of a sudden, They were like, that's not supposed to be there. And ta-da, it's now housing 300 something 15 to 17-year-old men. And again, they've been told if they run away from the facility, we're not chasing them. So I wouldn't want to be living down the street from that, because they're going to need a car when they run away. And whose car are they going to steal? They need a coherent plan. If people need to come here because they're escaping danger, they need to go to a certain place in a coherent way and do it. We don't have that. And what we have now is a mess. They believe that it's an open border. It's not. It's still being enforced. So now they're getting confused. They're sneaking in. They're dying in the desert. People are getting victimized. And some of the ones that come through are confrontational. Uh, Local news again down in Texas and in Arizona. Ranchers are coming out just to talk to them, like, hey, what are you doing in my property? And they're getting knives pulled on them. It's not cool. So pay attention to what's going on, because I hear they're going to pop out more of these little migrant facilities all over the country. Texas is up in arms about it now, so now they're going to go and try and find somewhere else to put them. So it could be in your neck of the woods. Just pay attention. Doesn't mean we can't be compassionate to people in need. That's what America's about. But we need to have a plan, because we're going to bring the wrong people in, and those of us who are here are going to suffer because leadership's being clueless. Uh, until next time, I hope everybody has a blessed and safe Easter. I hope all of you take care of yourselves, pay attention to what's going on. Remember, there is a very contentious trial in Minneapolis going on. That gentleman, George Floyd, who was killed by an officer, uh, that's a very emotional case. And regardless of where you stand on it, people may react poorly to a verdict if it doesn't go the way they think. So pay attention, travel safe, Godspeed if you're on the road for the Easter holiday. And I hope that the blessings shine on everybody. And if you're in hardship, just know there's a fellow in Texas who is saying a prayer for everyone who's in a bind. Y'all take care and God bless.